Is January 7th. This is a regular commission meeting. And will the clerk please take the roll call?
Commissioner Murillo?
Here.
Commissioner Milligan?
Here.
Commissioner Brennan?
Here.
Commissioner Naya?
Present.
All right, for those who wish, please stand for the invocation and pledge. Heavenly Father, we come to you today to ask you for your guidance and to help us as we go through the town's business. We also ask you to watch over the people of our town. As the weather starts to move in here, please protect our residents and keep everybody safe and that everybody returns home. In your holy name, we pray.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Might sign back up.
All right, next is the agenda approval. There is one change that's being made to help with the weather. We're going to be moving the presentation for the comp plan between 4 and 5. Other than that, is there any other changes?
Just a second. You're going to move the comp plan to
It's going to...
item number 1?
No, comp plan will happen right before matters from the commissioners.
Okay, because that's a decision item.
Mr. Chair,
No, just
Action
the
item.
presentation, just the presentation part.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay? Anything else? If there's no objection, we'll consider the agenda approved. All right, public comments. Can I have the list, please? Oh. And Linda Holly. Name and address, same thing.
Linda Holly, 26 Vista Cerritos. Regarding your process to fill the commissioner vacancy in District 5, I would really encourage you to give preference to candidates who reside in District 5. At the second to the last meeting of 2024, there was a discussion about reviewing, ranking road conditions in the town, district by district. Well, right now, District 5 has no representation for that project. In addition, if you select a candidate who lives in the district, they might consider running for that seat in the next election, providing continuity and representation for District 5. Whereas if someone outside the district is selected to fill the vacancy now, that individual will be ineligible to run for that seat in the next election. Switching gears, now I want to address the police department move. The town announced on Facebook that the police department has changed locations. Could you please share in a public meeting the reason for the move? If the building at the new location is purchased or leased, at what cost? And how will the old police department building, how will that be used? For instance, will it be repurposed to use as a community center? We'd really appreciate more information on that relocation. Thank you.
Thank you. Teresa Benton?
No, I matter, I signed on the wrong sheet, but I didn't know it said comment on top.
Okay. Anybody else who would like to make public comment? All right, hearing none. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Unless there's any objections to the consent agenda, we'll consider it approved. Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. And we'll move on now to the presentation portion of the comprehensive plan.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm Jackie Fishman with Consensus Planning. I think I've met most of you at our public meetings. It's quite some weather out there tonight, so thank you for moving this up into your agenda. If you could advance the slide, please.
Brad.
Okay, so this slide simply shows what our planning process has been. We started the project probably November of 2023. We really didn't get into it until 2024. We had our first public meeting in January of 2024, our second public meeting in October, our third public meeting November. I'm sorry, the second public meeting was in July, third public meeting was in November, and now we're at plan adoption, hopefully this evening. Go ahead and advance the slide. Okay, so we've had a good public engagement process. Again, we had 3 public meetings. We've met with the steering committee, who's given us good input on each stage of our project. We did a community survey, and then we also interviewed various people from the community, your staff, and others, and that helped form the basis of the comprehensive plan. Next, please. Oh. That's definitely not the presentation. Okay, there we go. Plan elements, you've heard this before. We have a number of them: land use, economic development, housing and neighborhoods, infrastructure, transportation, community facilities and services, hazard mitigation, and then implementation. And I'm just going to very briefly go through those this evening. Next, please. We do have some key planning themes that run throughout the document. Hopefully you've had a chance to look through it. They include creating a sense of community character and identity unique to Edgewood, creating a vibrant town center community focus area, strive to diversify and grow the local economy, diversify Edgewood's housing stock, invest in improving roadways and increasing mobility options, and then last, invest in indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities. Next. Okay, so very quickly, I'll go through these different plan elements. The first one is land use. We have, for each plan element, we have a set of goals, objectives, and strategies. The public has weighed in on all of those, so I'll just go through them quickly. We have, I believe, 3 sets of goals, objectives, and strategies for land use, creating a strong sense of place and identity, managing Edgewood's development through a balanced inventory of land uses and densities. Next. And then last, enhance the appearance of the built environment along commercial corridors and residential areas. Next, please. You'll recognize this map. This is the future land use scenario. This is the result of doing different land use alternatives and then coming to the public meeting. I think this was the second public meeting, getting the public's input, also input from our steering committee members, and of course Linda and Brad have been really helpful as well, and this is what we ended with. The very light yellow is rural residential. Those are large lots that may have agricultural activities on it. Residential is a smaller lot. The light orange is higher density residential. The brown is planned unit development. We have a little bit of mixed use here and there around section 16, and that's the bright pink. The red is commercial. A little bit lighter red is neighborhood commercial, which differs from the commercial by being smaller and more suited and focus on people that live in the neighborhoods. Institutional, blue, and industrial is purple. And then agriculture is the light green, dark green is parks, and then the very dark green is open space. We also show a couple little annexation areas, but we really kept the annexations down to a minimum. Our next plan element is economic development. I believe there's 3 sets of goals, objectives, and strategies. The first set talks about pursuing a diversified economy. The second set talks about expanding Edgewood's share of the outdoor recreation economy. And then the third is creating a well-trained workforce. Next is housing and neighborhoods, and I believe there's 2 sets of goals, objectives, and strategies. The first being increasing the supply and diversity of housing types. And then secondly, promoting the development of quality residential neighborhoods. Okay. Oh, actually, one more. Promoting community building and neighborhood stability through rehabilitation of blighted housing conditions. And the future land use map actually shows an area that we called for redevelopment. Okay, transportation, we have several sets of transportation. I think there's 2. The first is establish and maintain an integrated multimodal transportation system. Next, please. And then the second set is improve and maintain safe and accessible street conditions. Okay. Next is infrastructure. There's, I believe, 7 sets of goals, objectives, and strategies. The first is all about water. One is maintain a sustainable and high-quality water supply. The second set is provide and maintain an efficient and optimized water distribution system. Next is manage water resources through water conservation. And then also moving on to sanitary sewer and wastewater issues, maintain a safe and efficient wastewater collection and treatment system. Next is increasing stormwater management and protect public and private property from flooding. And then lastly, promote waste reduction, reuse, and recycling. Oh, one more. Expand affordable access to broadband and to quality internet services. And then we move to community services and facilities. There are several sets of goals, objectives, and strategies under this plan element. The first is to build a healthy community through an integrated system of parks, trails, open space, and indoor recreation facilities. We do highlight, the parks on the land use, future land use map, and show a couple areas that we think would be appropriate for new neighborhood scale parks. Second, provide a full spectrum of community facilities, programs, and events. And that references, different, like the library, senior center, the town hall, all those kind of community facilities. Next, and important for every community, there is, deliver and maintain a high level of public service, public safety services. Next, maintain a high level of community health outcomes. And then lastly, support equal access to quality education and learning opportunities. Okay, our last category is hazard mitigation. And the first set is build greater resiliency and capacity to respond to hazards. Next is reduce vulnerability to wildfires. Coming after that, reduce vulnerability to flooding. Next, reduce the impact of drought conditions. And then, last but not least, improve the ability to respond to hazardous spills and accidents. And that's one that we really call out a lot of the different offices of emergency management from all the various counties that you're within and adjacent to. Okay, so this slide is a page in the implementation plan section, and it takes all of there's many, I don't know, there's probably 80 or 90 different strategies that we identify by plan element. We take each of the strategies and put it into the spreadsheet, have a completion date. These are all based on a short, medium, long-term time frame. Plus, then there's the last category of ongoing, which just means it's something that the town should continue to do, and there's no end date. So the short term, 2025 to 2027, medium term, 2028 to 2031, long term, 2032 to 2035. We also identify responsible entities, and I worked with staff very closely to determine what department would be responsible for accomplishing these things. And this is not set in stone. The comprehensive plan is adopted as a resolution, as you know, but this gives the ability for a checks and balances, both for the commission as well as the public, to just see how well the implementation of the plan is going. We also have an extensive section in the plan on funding sources of all different kinds, both state funding, federal, and so on. So that's we think that's helpful to communities to have that in the plan. And that is my last slide.
So I know you need to get on the road so you can get through that darn canyon. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Naya?
First of all, I want to thank you for the work that you did for the town. This is one of the best comprehensive plans I've seen.
Thank you.
With the roadmap that you put in here too, working with the commission and the townspeople and the town members. You also put in here in the implementation plans, you put a dang good roadmap.
Okay.
Now I can go through, look at it, and see who's in trouble. Simply by reading your abbreviations, CDD, TM. Well, TM, town manager.
Yep.
That's easy. That's easy for me to pick up the phone and say, town manager, how come you haven't done this yet? It states right here in a comprehensive plan that you're going to do that. So see, that's simple. That's simple for this commission up here to go through and say, okay. The only thing I don't like about this is it doesn't say what our responsibilities are in detail. In other words, it doesn't state what the commission's responsibilities are based on the new type of government that we have, which would have clarified a lot of the questioning from the community that doesn't understand commission manager type government versus just strong mayor government. That's the only thing that I've seen in this whole thing. The rest of it, great job. Great job. It gave me, again, a great roadmap. It's things that we've talked about throughout the years. And, but you spelled it out in layman's term. So thank you, guys. I thank the commission that helped, worked with you, the committees, and the town. Again, one of the best ones I've seen. And I've seen a lot of these. Through the Board of Education, through Moriarty Edgewood School District. I've seen them for Santa Fe County. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? I do appreciate it. I've read through it once. I need to read through it again. That's a lot of reading.
It's a lot.
It's easy to get lost of where you're at, and you need to go back a couple of pages, so. I know when I read our last one almost 4 years ago, I had to read that one multiple times before it started to sink in, so. But I do appreciate all the work you did.
Thank you,
and,
thank you.
Thank you.
One thing that I forgot to mention, and I don't know if you're aware, that Consensus Planning actually did the town's first comprehensive plan, which I was involved in years ago.
Oh, the very first
The very first one. Yep.
little history there.
Yeah.
All right, any questions from the town staff?
Mr. Chair, Jackie, I just want to say thank you. I know this has been a long process, but I appreciate all of you've been very diligent about keeping in contact and have made, when we found stuff, have made all the changes that we've asked and talked us through processes as why you felt something should be in there and why something hasn't, but you were very open, and I really appreciated everything that you've done.
Thank you.
And be very safe going home, because I've seen I-40 as a mess.
Very, very slow. All right.
Okay, well, we'll let you go and
Okay. Thank you so much.
get home safely, please.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna-
Actually, if you could text the town manager when you do get home, so we know you got there okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
She needs to stay behind.
All right, so we're back to the regular schedule here, matters from the commissioners, and we'll, Commissioner Milligan.
I'll pass.
All right, Commissioner Marillo.
I just wanted to say Happy New Year's to everyone, and I'm looking forward to this year. I know we got some big plans and some great things coming up this year, and we're going to just keep moving Edgewood in the right direction. So here's to a new year.
Commissioner Naya.
Yeah, I was going to make a statement tonight about Mayor Keating, but I understand you're going to, so
Yeah, be a little
I'm going to pass, and I'm going to let you do that.
Okay. All right, for those of you who don't know, Mayor Keating, who was our first mayor, has passed away. And so I got a little statement here I'd like to read to everybody. It is with great respect and debt of gratitude that the town of Edgewood announces the passing of former Mayor Lawrence Larry Keating. He was elected as Edgewood's very first mayor, serving from March 1999 to September 2000. Mayor Keating was also an honored guest at Edgewood's 25th anniversary during Founder's Day, the celebration that was in here in July of 2024. During his term of office, Mayor Keating established the community's first town hall and 2 former classrooms of the old Edgewood Schoolhouse. With a bare-bones budget and just the town clerk and himself, he did everything from navigating all the processes of establishing a municipality to answering phones. Mayor Keating presided over some rambunctious early meetings. I kind of familiar with that and understand that. But he always worked to graciously address the interests and concerns of Edgewood's small but very vocal community. His friendly and focused approach guided the town through its first steps, setting up an appropriational framework, identifying priorities, and getting citizens involved as volunteers to make things happen. Mayor Keating led with enthusiasm and a genuine interest in bringing local control and services to Edgewood. His daughter, Nancy Stone, recently recalled Dad always said his greatest honor was working alongside so many wonderful people in Edgewood to incorporate the town. Born in 1929 in St. Louis, Missouri, Keating and his family moved to Albuquerque in 1968. Mayor Keating had been involved in the early days of the computer programming in the 1950s and 60s and retired as a 20-year computer programming instructor at TVI, now Central New Mexico Community College. He was proud father of 11 children, 22 grandchildren, 24 great-grandchildren. Mayor Keating and his late wife Celeste resided in Edgewood during the 1990s and early 2000s before moving to Albuquerque. Right now, we don't have the details on the services, but we'll make sure that gets posted when we do have it. I did have the opportunity to talk with Mayor Keating when he was here for the celebration. He was a very interesting person to talk to. He had a lot of great insight on the early days of Edgewood. And for those who knew him closer, I know he'll be sorely missed. And I appreciate all the efforts that he put into making Edgewood what it is today. So I'm going to leave it at that. And like I said, it's always painful when you lose one of the ones that actually had a big hand in creating what you work for today. So please remember Mayor Keating in your prayers and in your thoughts, and keep his family in your prayers and thoughts. Thank you. All right. Continuing on, matters from the clerk treasurer.
Mr. Chair, I just want to say also Happy New Year to everyone. I really am looking forward to a very productive, exciting year. We've already had a lot of discussions, us, the staff appointed, and we have a mission statement. We're full steam ahead for 2025, and you'll be hearing a lot from me at our next meeting. We'll be doing our second quarter quarterly report. So with that, I will, what's the word? Stand for questions. Or sit for questions.
Any questions for the clerk treasurer? No. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for reading that about Mayor Keating. It was wonderful to hear that history.
Okay, matters from the chief of police.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the governing body. Happy New Year, Happy New Year to the public. So to address the question earlier that was brought up about the move to the new building, which is the old Dennis Engineering Building, I know we did bring it in front of the commission, and I know you all had to vote on that. I can't remember which meeting it was, but I want to say it was maybe August or September meeting where we would discuss that, and you all voted on it. The lease is a $5,000 lease a month. It's basically $5,000 for 5,000 square feet of office space, which we desperately need with the amount of employees that we have right now. I don't know if anybody has been to the Dennis Engineering Building lately, but it has cubbies and office space and room space for each of the officers. So now each officer has their own cubby little space, which they desperately need, especially in the old building. The old building is actually going to be used for the maintenance department's going to take that over and utilize those bays, those vehicle bays, so they can do a lot more of our vehicle fleet equipment, oil changes, vehicle maintenance, and they've been doing a phenomenal job in saving the city a lot of money right now. So they're hoping and plan putting some vehicle lifts in there so they can do a little bit more of the more complicated vehicle maintenances and house a lot of their vehicles and equipment that the town has been so graciously purchasing. I know you all know they just purchased the John Deere tractor. Right now, that's all out in the elements. The Bobcats, all those are out in the elements, and they're not secured. So that's what's going to be used for. And a while back, I did get a quote to put cubicles in the patrol bay. It would have been about $30,000 from one of the companies we looked at doing that because of, the way that it's set up now as a firehouse. There's only about 4 or 5 usable offices, and now I think we probably tripled or quadrupled our office space over there. So, I just got word from the officers right now, I-40 is very slick. DOT is plowing the roads and salting the roads. Route 66 is also snow-packed and icy, so they're gonna be working on the roads. We had a crash where our officers are working on I-40 right now, so. But I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions for the chief? Yeah, I know we've been talking about your move. We've also had to approve all the cameras and everything that went in there,
Yes, sir.
so.
Hopefully we'll be all set up within before the end of the month, and fully operable, but right now we're slowly but surely moving everything in there. You don't realize how much stuff you have until you do a move. So, I don't know how long they've been in that building at the firehouse, but.
Well, being in the military, I've moved a lot, and the one thing that was good about moving is every time you moved, you found stuff you didn't need anymore.
Right. Yeah, and we invite the public, and Ms. Hawley, you're always welcome there to go tour the building. And I think you'll be very impressed of what Dennis Engineering has been doing. And hopefully, at some point, I would like to talk about maybe a lease to purchase option, because I just think that we're only going to get bigger, the town as a whole, so. But thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief, appreciate it. All right, Town Manager.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, staff, and public. Also, a Happy New Year. We're in 2025, and as the clerk said, full steam ahead. We want to just continue to focus on the town and everything that we have accomplished and focus more on our accomplishments and continue to create better processes so we can better serve the public. I know I woke up on New Year's Day, and unfortunately I think about work more than I probably should, but first thought in the morning was, this didn't get done or that. But then I realized I went through every department and I could think of about 4 to 6 accomplishments every department did that really bettered the town. And I think that is a really great thing to highlight. Segues right into some of them. I'm not going to go over all my town matters that I have listed, but we do want to do another State of the Town address because we do feel that, staff and I feel that that's an important presentation to give to the public and invite everybody out to see. The State of the Town gives the commission all chances to introduce themselves, things that they look forward to for staff, and to highlight what the town has done and our great citizens. Linda did let me know about some cow awards that were around, I guess, for a while. We would like to bring those back and recognize all of the citizens that have volunteered and given their time to the town to help make it a better place. We're going to go through and get some categories and hope to have that, like a potluck award ceremony is what we're thinking is in February. That's where we'll bring the Officer of the Year. We're going to be bringing forward an Employee of the Quarter, but we can make it a time to really celebrate the town. We have done so many amazing things, and in 25 years, the town of Edgewood has accomplished so much. We tend to like to make headlines for good or bad, but we have made our place in New Mexico as a great place. Go to any type of municipal conference in Edgewood, everyone's always wondering what we're doing. So I think in 25 years, everyone has done a great job. The new town website we're anticipating it being up and ready to go in about 10 weeks for just thorough review. We've done our best to really make sure it is as user-friendly as possible, making sure, double-checking information. Possibly in 2 to 3 weeks, people may see a transition, but 10 weeks is what we're protecting ourselves, so we're not jumping the gun on anything.
It'll be March or April.
March or April, okay. We're trying to give ourselves time, because we do want to make sure what the public gets is exactly what is the benefit to the town. Thank you, Chief, for mentioning the relocation. I did have that on there. I do want to, the DOT they're out of Old Town Hall at this time. Town Hall has run into the problem of we're running out of room for office space as well. At some point, I would like to bring back the idea of Old Town Hall being office space for some of our town staff, and then continuing to use it as a satellite for possibly the county if they have offices that they need here for satellite, if it's the treasurer, the assessors, sheriff's office, or other state agencies. We have really enjoyed the partnership with the state using that building, but there are a few staff members that could probably use some of the office space over there as well. In November, I did update the commission of some irregularities with the commissioner's emails, and that a review is underway. Because the matter is still under active review, it'd be inappropriate to release any incomplete information, but I want you to be aware that the review is still ongoing. We also want to caution everyone that it would be wrong to make any assumptions about the purpose or potential outcome of the review at this time. Everyone's done a really good job of protecting this, and we'd like to continue to protect the process and make sure we are crossing all our Ts and dotting our Is. I do want to remind everyone with the snow, I did see the I-40, even Moriarty Police Department has posted out that there's quite a few wrecks. I do want to remind everyone that we're following the MESD inclement weather schedule, so if they are delayed or canceled, we will be as well. And then our planning and zoning manager and our community development director are at the TRC, down in TRC to present the abatement program. They have had some difficulty navigating some of their abated properties, and so they're down there to present what we've done. So we're looking forward to hearing their feedback as they come back to see how TRC's commission has accepted that. I do want to remind everyone, because this year we've decided we want to be a united town. We want to work together. We want the commission to work together. We want to focus on the outcomes and just remind everyone that we're one for all for one. We make our decisions together, we work together, and we just want to have a better year. We think 2025 can be the year that we're just even better than last. And with that, I stand for questions.
All right, any questions for the town manager? Once again, Happy New Year's to you, and I appreciate all the work that you've done,
Well, thank you.
and especially the issues that you've had with the accident over the past month, and you're still making sure everything gets done, and that's commendable.
Oh, thank you. I did try. Even in the hospital, I was still sending out emails and stuff. But I do really want to say that I have some amazing fellow appointed officials that a year ago, there's no way I could have been away from the office. But I really appreciate that they kept me in the loop of what was going on, called when they needed to. Staff knew they could reach out as they needed to. But I really appreciate that I was able to, I say step away, but I think I talked to the chief for like an hour when I was lost in the parking garage. So, but I do appreciate it. I appreciate everyone. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, let's move on to our discussion and action items, and the first one on the list is for the comprehensive plan. So that's Resolution 2025-004.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Anaya.
I'm trying to find it, please. Just a second. I'd like to make a motion on that.
Go ahead.
And the motion is that we accept the 2025-04 resolution to adopt the comprehensive plan that was presented to us tonight with a statement to the staff in the town, people that were involved with it. They did a beautiful job with it.
Second.
Okay, and Commissioner Merrill seconds it. Discussion. Quick question, when you're saying a statement on it, it just looks sort of like a prelude on the first page? Thank you to,
Well, something that Linda could put on Facebook stating that we appreciate the work that was done in conjunction with the town, with the townspeople, with the employees, and everybody that was involved with it.
So you're not asking for an amendment to the comprehensive plan as presented? You just want a statement put out to the public?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm glad you said
Yeah,
that.
I don't
'cause
have any,
I was thinking you wanted a page put in there with a thank you page in the comp plan. That's the way I read it when you said it.
well, we could do that too. I mean,
There is an acknowledgement page at the beginning of the comp plan that states everyone who was involved.
Oh, there you go.
Mr. Chair, I can hear Brad. He said like a cover statement.
Yeah.
there you go. Thank you. We can all hear Brad.
Is he still driving?
No, they're in TRC now.
Okay.
Is the snow in there?
Brad? Hey, Brad,
Yes.
is it snowing in TRC?
No, it's okay here.
It's okay then.
All right.
They're nice and toasty.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, this does require a roll call vote. Commissioner Milligan,
Aye.
Commissioner Murillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Anaya,
Aye.
Commissioner Brennan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right.
I'd like to just thank the commissioners, and I want to thank everybody in the community and all their hard work. This was a great endeavor, and I'm really pleased that we got to this point, so.
Thank you, Brad. Mr. Chair, I did put you up to the speaker, Brad, so everyone heard you. And thank you so much for your hard work.
Yes, thank you, Brad.
Great endeavor, and I'm really pleased that we got to this.
All right, so let's go on to the next one. This is going to be discussion and actions to approve the resolution 2025-001, the Open Meetings Act. This is the first one we discussed in the workshop.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner
I'd
Milligan.
like to motion that we approve the resolution 2025-001 Open Meetings Act.
Second.
All right, and it's been seconded by Commissioner Murillo.
With changes. Excuse
Pardon
me. With the changes.
Yes. So that would be approval of the resolution 2025-001 with the changes that were discussed during the workshop.
Second.
It was already, it already seconded. All right, any discussion, any further discussion on this? So one nice thing about a workshop, all the discussion's already pretty much happened.
Yeah. This does require a roll call vote. Commissioner Milligan,
Aye.
Commissioner Murillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Anaya,
Aye.
Commissioner Brennan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right.
Thank you. And thank you, Community Liaison Burke, for your work on this.
All right, so it takes number 3, discussion and approval of resolution 2025-002, adopting the process of formulating the government body agenda. This was also discussed during the workshop. Do I have a motion for it?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Murillo.
I move that we approve Resolution 2025-002, a resolution adopting the process of formulating the town commission agenda with
right.
the changes.
It's been motioned to approve with the changes in the workshop. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Milligan seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we can move to the vote.
This does require a roll call vote. Commissioner Milligan,
Aye.
Commissioner Murillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Anaya,
Aye.
Commissioner Brennan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All righty. And item 4, discussion and approval of the Book Barn MOU. Once again, this was also discussed during the workshop.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Anaya.
I'm making a motion that we approve the MOU draft for the Friends of Our Library.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned by Commissioner Anaya and seconded by Commissioner Milligan. Any further discussion? Go go to your roll call vote.
No, this does not.
An MOU?
No. Am I wrong? We'll do one. We'll do one. We'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Milligan?
Aye.
Commissioner Murillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Anaya?
Aye.
Commissioner Brennan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Next is discussion action to approve commission executive level appointments. And that'll be for the town manager, will be Nina McCracken, town clerk, treasurer, Michelle Jones, chief of police, Roger Jimenez, and community liaison, Linda Burke.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Milligan.
make a motion that we approve the commission executive level appointments as followed.
Okay, Commissioner Milligan, motion to approve the appointments. Do I have a second? I will go ahead and second. Discussion.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Naya.
Madam Town Manager. I don't see on here where, for an example, that Brad is not on this. Is there a particular reason why
Mr. Chair?
he's an appointee? Is he an employee?
Yes. Commissioner, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Anaya, he is staff. He is not an appointed official.
Okay, so he's just a department head then?
Correct.
Is that the way that you got it? Okay, just wanted clarification on that.
Mr. Chair.
You good?
Yeah.
Commissioner Murillo.
So I wanted to, so I've been thinking about this for a minute, about our approval of appointment, or the appointments that we have. And I'm not sure that, not necessarily all these positions actually make sense to me as far as having to be an appointment. I don't want this to be taken as an offense to anybody or me trying to just be difficult here. But I wonder if, for example, like the community liaison position wouldn't actually be a better fit as a staff position so that we have clear swim lanes of where folks are reporting and who they're reporting through. I think a good example of this, for example, is I'd imagine the community liaison works way more with the town manager than with the commission on the day-to-day ins and outs. And it's not that she can't communicate with us, but I wonder if there should be a more standardized process, or I just think it'd be more beneficial if it was a staff position and transferring that job description to a staff instead versus having to always having to be concerned about keeping commissioners pleased about something, right? Because I know in the past, commissioners have been, will go to somebody and just peck at them versus instead of going through the town manager and trying to get things resolved. I wonder if doing this for that position in particular would make a lot more sense, increase job satisfaction, joy of work, and have a clear line of communication. And I'm not opposed, Linda, with you coming up and giving your thoughts on this, but I think it would actually be a better fit for what you actually do versus having to deal with commissioners tapping you on the shoulder and not having the support that you need from the town manager. Not that she doesn't provide support, you do. I don't know if I articulated that well at all.
Okay, well, a little on the history on that. The reason why this was an appointed position is because we can go to the community liaison and request things to be done and get information directly from the commissioner. With our operational procedures that we have, we can't do that with a staff member. All right, that's the reason why she's an appointed member of that. we have that direct line of communication, and we don't have to go through the town manager. With any of the staff members, whether it be in the finance, planning and zoning, maintenance department, we have to go through the town manager. All right, when we set this up, it was done that way on purpose, so we would have that open path to the liaison.
And I guess that's what I'm arguing then, is I think that the commissioners being able to slow their roll and have a little bit of burden to do that. Because from being newer to the commission, observing from the outside, I feel like a lot is being thrown and not necessarily considered with, a delay of having to go through the town manager. So you said it better than I did. I think that's the reason I want that.
Yeah.
I think that would make a lot more sense long-term, because I know staff could still be salary. Is that correct, manager?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Because I think, one, that's going to just increase joy of work, but also force the commission to be more intentional about what we're requesting and why we're requesting it, so that we get a feedback loop versus a directive.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. But the other reason why we made it an appointment, it also takes a little bit off the shoulders of the town manager and puts it onto the liaison. So the liaison and town manager are working side by side. And by being able to spread that out and leaving us that ability to be able to go and directly talk to the liaison. Because as before, we also used to have a, what was her title? Mrs.
What's her
Skidmore.
title?
What was her title? Can't remember.
Mr. Chair?
Communications and outreach.
Yeah, there we go, communications and
Manager.
outreach.
Yeah, communications and outreach, which that was an employee that we, as commissioners, we could not go directly to her for things. We had to go through the liaison or the town manager.
Right.
All right, so there's that firewall for the staff, because there were issues where some commissioners would occasionally go directly to staff employees requesting things and asking things and gumming up the works, all right? That's the reason why we cannot go directly to a staff member, like the roads department or whatever. But if the liaison was also set up, that would put in a roadblock and to prevent us from just having the freedom to do the job the way we need to do it. So having this position as an appointed position, it gives us that freedom. Now, if a commissioner is abusing their freedoms and stuff like that, then the liaison is going to speak up and let the rest of us know, and we will have a discussion with that person who is abusing the usefulness of that position.
Right, and I hear what you're saying, like, I'm not opposed, like, I hear that, and that makes sense, how you're describing it. Just to hit kind of on that last point, I think an appointee, and this is not a reflection of anybody, any appointment, but to come up and say, all right, well, I'm gonna push back on this, is a little bit more intimidating, right? Because they are up for appointments, right? We're doing that right now. And so it could, somebody that does have a grudge, you know what I mean? So they're not as protected. And then also what my goal for a town commission style government is to make the town manager the executive, the face, the driver and mover. And I feel like by having it separated out, we're kind of taking some of that authority to move things along, right? Because now it's not just having to build a team and do that. It's having to go to multiple places to make something happen versus having direct oversight, right? I feel with the town manager, we want a strong town manager at the end of the day, like we have a strong police chief, right? And they need to be able to make executive decisions and to make the things happen, because that's where a lot of the authority's been placed, right? Our authority is to give direction, to approve things, to help set a guide, a guiding star, but it's the town manager that's really gonna have to do that, right? Our town manager's gonna have to hit the ground and make things happen, right? And I feel like with this particular position I've been discussing, I feel like that position really should be under a town manager, not so much under a commission. I think organizationally, it's more efficient. I think, as far as job satisfaction, employee satisfaction at the end of the day, it would be a lot more satisfactory at the end of the day. And so it's not so much the job, it's where it should go. I feel like the job should be under the town commission, the town manager versus the commissioners.
Okay, I think I hear what you're saying. I mean, I still feel that this should be an appointed position, and as it stands right now, the way the position is written and the way the position was filled, it is as an appointed position, and it would have to be a separate item for discussion on a future agenda if you want to go ahead and move forward to moving that from an appointed position to a staff hired position, which would then be up to the town manager. The other thing is, being an appointed position, it is up to the commission itself to hire and fire that position. And in order for us to remove an appointed position, you need 3 out of the 5 to do it. All right. And if you've got somebody who's in an appointed position who's done something enough to aggravate and piss off 3 out of the 5, then there's a problem to begin with that needs to be addressed. If you have one person that has, an issue, for a politically correct word, that one commissioner can have a discussion, but that one commissioner can't remove the person.
Right, and I hear that, so I wonder, then maybe that's something that we should put on an agenda at a later date to talk about the reclassification, or the changing of the organizational structure, and obviously have an opportunity to talk with the community liaison, because I think your insight would be helpful in this if right, I'm not going to ask you to make a statement right now, because I just brought it up, so you need time to think about that and let it soak in, but that's pretty much what I wanted to bring up.
So yeah, you can bring that onto a future agenda, but for today, it is still an appointed position, and we have to approve for this coming year, 2025, the appointees. So that's where we're at. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Naya?
2 things. And you stated it pretty clear. I appreciate the way that you made your statements. The liaison works strictly for the commissioners. This is a format that we follow throughout the state of New Mexico. The type of government that we're using right now has, in most cases, each commissioner has its own liaison. We're sharing one, and that individual that we share does bring us information that we need that we cannot get by asking staff, just like you stated. So it is a clean break from us being sued, for one, for violation of our charter, and for 2, she responds to us immediately, whereas we have to go through the town manager, and we still have the ability to do that. We can always go to the town manager. If you don't like what the liaison told you, you can verify that any given time that you choose to do that. But it is in our charter, and it's the way that we follow the form of government that we operate in. So I absolutely think that individual is an appointee from us. We have the authority to hire and fire that individual, whereas we don't deal with staff, period. I mean, that's a red line. No ands, ifs, or buts. I yield.
Okay. Mr. Milligan?
I'm good.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
No, I appreciate it.
Mr. Chair,
Town manager.
I think since there's discussion, I think it is something to think about, maybe go over and bring to a later date to go over. As Commissioner Naya said, there are other commission managers where, I was going to pick on the county, but we'll just pick on Albuquerque. But Albuquerque, they all have their policy analysts that assist with different items. That is something that's there. Maybe it is something, I understand where Commissioner Murillo is coming from. I know he had bounced this idea off of me. There's pros and cons to both. There is a little bit more job security not being appointed. That is something to, I guess, keep in mind, maybe later down the road. I don't know, but this may be something to just continue to research on, but I appreciate everyone's input and views of stuff. I know the appointed, I think we've worked pretty well together, but it is something to think about future and how we operate, but that's all I had to say.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chair, I too really appreciate the conversation and the opinions from all the commissioners. I really appreciate that. And I do want to say that from what I heard, Commissioner Murillo is looking in a very positive light on Community Liaison Burke, and kind of noticing the many tasks that she does, and wondering if that's amicable and all of that stuff. I just want to say one thing, that as an appointed official, our group of appointed officials, I understand the desire to relook that position, and I completely understand that. But I do also want to say that having the community liaison as an appointed has been very advantageous to me. She has been a great asset to me, and I think that there are some things that only the appointed officials can be privy to and can discuss. And while I think there's a lot of advantages to being staff, I personally would miss that, having that as part of our appointed discussions. I just wanted to say that.
All right, there's no further discussion. We'll move on to the vote. All right, all in favor of approving the 4 appointments?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous vote?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And
Thank you very
Commissioner Mel,
much.
Thank you again. I appreciate your insight on that, and we can talk more on this to see where we can take it.
For sure.
All right, okay, discussion and action on the internship programs, and that is myself and Manager McCracken. Manager McCracken, I'll let you take the lead.
Mr. Chair, thank you, Commissioners. I know we have discussed this over the course of probably the last, I want to say 6 or 7 months, about the idea of doing an internship program. This is actually perfect timing because I do have an advisory board meeting for the high school principal coming up this month. So any information we discuss and decide here, I can always take back to the high school to see how we can work together. But the idea is that we have individuals in this community, and we have a need for additional workers, but possibly not just a full-time employee. So we're thinking if we have these programs, we could work with EVCA, homeschool programs, a high school, and get maybe juniors and seniors who are towards the end of high school, possibly looking to get into a career field, and we could work with them. So wastewater is one that came up at the city managers conference, that they are seeing a huge decline in wastewater operators and getting people interested in the wastewater area. Their suggestion was to get these high school students who are getting close to graduating and get them hooked on wastewater. Join the program, looking forward to certifications. You know, it's a process that we do have a lot of high school students right now that when I was in high school, it was go to college, go to college, go to college. That's not this generation. They are going back to trades. They want to be welders and plumbers and electricians, and both are very important to society. I think the children that are, I shouldn't say children, the students at the high school level may be interested in being a future clerk or a librarian. Our maintenance staff could use it. I know the road said that they could use high school students for certain things if it's helping with the road, different areas, but this internship program would give an opportunity not just for the students to get a hands-on experience of what exists out there as careers. This also gives them the ability to, because this is the worst catch-22 ever for an 18-year-old, work experience. You go to apply for a job where you don't have any experience, so no one wants to give you experience. But this could give that opportunity if they're here for a year or two and they gain that experience. Having someone that are references, that are professional references, and I'm going to pick on my daughter for a moment because she applied for a job and put me down as a reference. I said, that does not work, sweetheart. You're going to have to find someone else. But when you haven't worked, you don't have anyone. I had to expand her mind to teachers and coaches. But this would give, I mean, if you're 18 going out to the workforce and you've talked to Commissioner Anaya and Commissioner Milligan and say, hey, I really need a reference. They've seen your great work. What better reference to have than a commissioner? You know, it's that kind of process. But that is something we want to look into of how we want to do the internship programs. If that's something the commission is okay with us continuing that process. We started working with Workforce Solutions to see if there's a way that we can split the cost with the schools, or if Workforce Solutions has a way to help us fund an internship program. But this is something for the summertime we could do. When I was with Santa Fe County, they had a summer internship program, and you had to be nominated by a commissioner. I don't know if we necessarily want to go that route, but we would all get a commissioner's pick, and they would come and assist. I remember helping people learn to file or work for Excel and just different stuff like that. But this way, we can work with our local students, maybe hopefully keep some people here as well. I know Principal Adams was telling me at the last meeting I went to for the advisory board, the high school really wants to do more with the town of Edgewood. They have worked a lot with businesses in Moriarty and places like that, but they would like to expand into Edgewood. There are students that live here in Edgewood, and we'll give them an opportunity to work with, if it's local businesses or with the town, but that's the idea. I know that they just started their aviation program and are working with the local airports and stuff like that too. But I think, I don't know how much the police department could use anyone, but possibly with filing, learning how to redact reports. There's a lot that people can learn and they don't realize exists. So I think that's the idea. I don't know. I know Commissioner Murillo had brought me a flyer a while back about internship programs too from a conference he went to that would assist maintenance and roads. But I do know the high school during the summertime hires students to help with their maintenance, and that may be something for us to look at, because I know maintenance has a lot to maintain. So it's an idea. But any type of feedback or what anyone thinks, but it is something we'd like to continue doing and possibly have ready for the summer.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Murillo?
Yeah, I second everything that the town manager said. I think this is a great opportunity, being somebody that's in the higher education area. People, that's where they're going into the trades. And I could tell you that if I had the opportunity to go intern with the police department, we didn't have one at the time, but if that would have probably stopped me from doing some dumb stuff as a young man, and would have given me a better insight into it, and potentially change a career pathway, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And I think this is a great opportunity. I've seen so many folks that go through the traditional college route, they go to do the job, and they realize they hate it. They didn't want to be a doctor. They hate being a lawyer. They didn't want to be a nurse. And whatever they get their degree in, they're not actually doing that work, right? And so I think this is an opportunity for Edgewood to impact this surrounding area, I would say a 30-mile radius of youth being able to say, hey, what's out there? I think wastewater is a great example. Like, people don't realize there's money to be made in wastewater. You know, and if you get those certifications, right, you become extremely valuable. And I think that's something that I think town government could definitely teach our younger folk, learning how to make yourself valuable, how to make yourself indispensable, how to make yourself highly sought after. So I think this is great, and I think we should keep doing it. I think we should push on this as hard as we can.
Mr. Chair, Thank you so much, Commissioner Murillo. To add to that, with college, I actually saw that this generation's called the tool belt generation. And I know my husband's one that graduated from college with honors, supposed to go to med school, and he moves pool tables. And he always tells me he never should have went to college. But that's neither here nor there. But that is one of those, we were pushed. And it's a path for some, not for all. And I think that is something to keep in mind. I think it can be a great opportunity for people to figure out what they want to do. I know we have a road crew member who, he's younger. I think we hired him when he was like 19 or something, put him through to get a CDL, and he's doing really well. And well, my kids are teenagers, and so they know him, but everyone wants a CDL now. That's where everybody wants to go because they think he has the greatest job in the world. I think that's a true testament to getting people out and seeing that there is this job that some people really enjoy it. And so now we have a group of youth that think being a road crew member of the town of Edgewood is like a goal, which I love. That's great. But it is one of those things, if we keep these ideas and people interested, we'll continue to keep a good workforce here and local. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with hiring from outside, but I do know one, I don't want to say complaint, but I've heard it from younger people who move to Albuquerque or Santa Fe, somewhere else where there's more job opportunity. But we're growing, so why not start growing people into careers that we may be able to sustain for them?
You know, and not just the high school kids, but also those who are going to a trade school, and even those who are going to college. I mean, if like an intern that is, somebody who's going to college on finances, you know, during the summer, an intern in the finance department to help them out. I know interns tend to do a lot of grunt work, but what better way to understand a job, but, you know, other than, you know, actually doing the dirty work and give you I need to get, you know, certified so I don't have to be doing the dirty work.
It's the foundation.
Yeah, and not only that, but interns that are working for the town, it gets them also involved in town government.
That's what I was going to
And
say.
there is a lot of people that have, you know, don't really understand what town government does. And by getting them involved with the town and having them maybe, like, you know, part of their intern program is they have to come to a meeting here and do a presentation for the department, whatever. You're building up your civic knowledge within the town and the people around you. And who knows, we may have an intern come in here and 20 years later, we're going to be voting for that person for president or something.
Mr. Chair, I think that's a really good point. I do, you know, I don't know if Jimmy's here. I know KR is here, and he was one. They worked together to get the TAC team going. Those teens are extremely involved. I know they're advisory and they're volunteer, but they spend a lot of time helping with town events. And I've been here when they started their meetings, and those are some excited kids to be part of the town. The ideas of, I know that they work on some of the flyers and are learning those skills, how to work together. They conduct their meetings like they have meetings. So I think that's a really good point of getting people possibly interested in government, but also understanding government. Oh, go for it. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair. You stole my stuff. I wanted to just say all of that. I just think it's a great opportunity for a young person to learn more about civics. I think when you're in school and you're taking a civics class, you just want to be done. But an internship, you really get to look into government, how our government functions. I just think that part of it is also very important and could be just great for young people.
Mr. Chair, sorry, just thinking about this because we're on this internship, because this came up today, because we're going to look into the animal shelter having volunteers 16 and up, but that might be something else to think about internships. I know our animal shelter is doing amazing right now, but there are a lot of interested people into veterinarian school, vet techs, or working on the farm. I'm sure that's a needed skill, right?
Commissioner Milligan?
I think it's a great idea. It's amazing. What action do we need to take on this?
Well, I was going to go ahead and make a motion that we direct the town manager to start developing an internship program for the town of Edgewood. God, I can't talk.
Second.
All right.
Second.
Who was first?
We all second.
Pretty much.
I was a double second.
Who seconded?
Actually,
Whoever you want to put that this way.
it was almost simultaneous.
Yeah.
Where's that, right outside?
All right, any further discussion?
Yeah, oh.
Okay, no discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, Town of Edgewood gets an internship program.
That is wonderful.
Mr. Chair, as I develop this program, I will bring this up to the high school as well. And I'll reach out to E EVCA and
And whatever help you need from me, let me know.
I will. I
And
do
will be
know
there.
the high school advisory board may need additional people. It's an advisory board to the principal, so I may
And you can
reach
include
out.
me. You can include me too.
Oh,
I've
okay.
done presentations at EVCA, so.
Oh, good, okay.
All right, now we need to go on to the discussion and action approval resolution 2025-003, fiscal year 25 budget adjustment. Madam Clerk, Treasurer.
Okay.
Just wants to wave at everybody.
Hello, Commissioners, appointed officials, staff, very important public. I'm Michelle Jones, I'm your Clerk Treasurer. And I do have this budget resolution, budget adjustment that I am requesting from $174,900 to $284,159 to cover FY25 New Mexico self-insurance payment. I do want to explain this a little bit. We had the invoice for New Mexico self-insurers for our employees, liability, property, workman's comp, et cetera. The total for FY25 is $173,262. The finance director, Trina Page, she did budget adequately for this bill, but the bill from the prior year was not paid in a timely fashion. We all know that there were issues in the finance department that we are definitely clearing up. So we looked at this, and the bill from FY24, $110,000 was paid out of this, how am I saying that? FY25 budget, correct? Anyway, it was paid out of the previous budget. So we have to increase FY25. It was paid out of FY25. So we have to increase the FY25 budgeted expenditures in this line item to cover this payment. Do you have any questions about that? I know I kind of didn't explain correctly. I'm sorry.
Oh, Commissioner, go ahead.
Madam Clerk, are we talking about just adjusting the difference of 109K? Or are we talking about putting in an additional 284?
No, we're taking the budgeted expenditure that is already in there, 174.9, to 284.
Okay, so that's 109.
Correct.
Okay,
That's correct.
that's all I need to know.
Yeah, that's correct.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Naya.
I make a motion that we approve the line item adjustment, budget adjustment.
Of resolution 2025-003?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Commissioner Murillo seconded. Discussion. So just to make sure I'm straight on this, this is some of the leftover issues from the prior finance department where we had issues which we've been working real hard over the past year to fix.
Correct.
8 months, yeah, about that.
Correct. That is absolutely correct. No one who is currently working in that office now neglected to pay this payment. It just, when we went to pay it, we saw that part of this budget had been used to pay the prior year. So we had to increase it to get current.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No, Mr. Chair.
All right. Get to your microphone. It's a resolution.
I know, yes.
We do need to do this because of the findings.
As this is a resolution, it does require a roll call vote. Commissioner Milligan?
Aye.
Commissioner Murillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Naya?
Aye.
Commissioner Brennan?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
All righty. Excuse me. Next item is discussion and action approving the resolution 2025-005, affirming the 2025 holiday calendar.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Naya.
make a motion that we approve the 2025 holiday calendar final.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and seconded to approve the calendar. Discussion.
Can I,
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Naya?
can I rephrase my motion?
Well, it's already been seconded.
He can amend it, though.
You can make an amendment.
I just want to make it approval for adopting the 2025 holiday calendar as is. Just had the word as is. Do you agree?
I'll second that as well.
Okay. And we can do that. All right, discussion.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Murillo.
Personally, I'll vote no against this. I think the town of Edgewood, as discussed in the workshop earlier today, that I do think we need to change Monday, October 13th to be Columbus Day. It's an American tradition. It honors the Italian-American contributions to this country. I think it's something that a lot of our younger people don't know about because of an agenda to erase our history. And so I do think that we need to change it back to Columbus Day for what it was. It was something that was recognized in this country from our founding since 1792. It was made official by our Congress in 1971. And it's a part of our history. And to erase that and to take it away is an insult to our future generations who won't know the history unless they go out and seek that information for themselves. So I think the town of Edgewood should do everything it can to make sure that we are not erasing history, that we're notifying or letting people know why we're taking off these holidays. And I believe Columbus Day is a very important, over 500 years ago, the discovery of the Americas officially, right, that was wide known outside of Leif Erikson, which he didn't go and tell a whole lot of people, but Christopher Columbus sure as heck went and told the rest of the world what he had found. And I think it's important that we honor that history and not just erase it. I know there are some arguments for the other way of going about it, and as you all know, I'm a history buff, and so I'm not opposed to taking the time and committing myself to go do a proclamation recognizing the Native American culture and contributions to this country, but specifically from this state. I don't think people realize how much beautiful history we have in this state, and just to basically sheep dip it so that people like, oh, well, what does that mean? What is Indigenous Day? If you were to ask a regular person outside, they couldn't tell you what that meant. They can't name a historical figure. Right off the top of my head, I could talk about Tisquantum, also known as Squanto. I could talk to you about Sacagawea. I could talk about Geronimo or Crazy Horse, especially in the Southwest area. We could talk about Jim Thorpe, the Olympian first Native American to win a gold medal. I mean, that's history that we can make it a point for this town to be different than the rest of these other municipalities or government agencies that just give lip service and try to virtue signal by erasing some of this history. So, I don't know, I can't make an amendment, can I?
You can make an amendment.
Can I make an amending, Mr. Chair, I move to make an amending amendment to change Monday, October 13th, 2025 to Columbus Day.
Okay, I'm going to second that for purpose of discussion. Discussion on that. They're both days are the same day. And I think it would be more appropriate to include both on that day. Because basically what we're talking about are the days off, the holidays that the town is actually paying for the day. We're not making or denying a holiday, but to actually call that day what it is, which is Columbus Day, and it's an Indigenous People Day. Say it as it is. It's Columbus/Indigenous People Day.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Milligan.
I would echo exactly what you said. I would be in favor of splitting it to two.
Okay, so right now on the table is to go ahead and change the line from Indigenous to Columbus, and that's the amending motion. We need to vote on that if there's no further discussion.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Naya.
first of all, I made the first motion.
Yeah, this is an amending motion to your motion. We have to come back to your motion.
Do that, and then that one. So they're just saying to go back, Indigenous people /
So all in favor of changing the verbiage from Indigenous to Columbus?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So it fails due to a lack of a majority. I'm going to make an amending motion that we add the word Columbus, so it reads Columbus Indigenous Peoples Day.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion on that? All right, so no discussion. Let's move to the vote. All in favor of adding Columbus onto the line, so it reads Columbus Indigenous People Day?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
All right, 3 ayes, 1 opposed. All right, so that line now reads Columbus/Indigenous People Day. And now we go back to the original motion to approve Resolution 2025-005. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
What was the motion?
Your motion.
Yeah, but the way that you stated it.
The amending a motion amended the wording. Your motion was to approve Resolution 2025-005.
As is. That was my motion.
Yes, and then there was an amending motion that got passed, which changes it.
So the motion that you made, the vote that you took on my motion, you're saying it passed.
With the changes noted.
With the second amendment noted, or third amendment, whichever one it was.
There was one amending motion, which was Commissioner Murillo, was to change the words. My amending motion was to add the word Columbus. And everybody agreed, a majority vote agreed to add
So the
Columbus.
motion then, or the vote is to accept the third amendment.
Right, and all the other dates here.
Then that's what needs to be stated. Just restate it, that's all.
All right, so we are voting on approving a Resolution 2025-005 with the approved amended motion to add the word Columbus to Indigenous Peoples' Day, so it reads Columbus/Indigenous Peoples' Day. Everything else stays the same.
There you go.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, let the record show, three ayes, 1 nay.
One nag.
One butt? All right, okay, that takes us now to discussion and action on commission appointments, board services. All right, so we've got the boards that we have is the Mr. Cog Board of Directors, Mr. Cog Water Resource Board, Mr. Cog Rural Transportation Planning Organization, the RTPO, Mr. Cog Workforce Connection, Central New Mexico, the Albuquerque Regional Economic Development Alliance, also known as AREA, Estancia Basin Resource Association, and the North Central New Mexico Regional Transportation District.
Mr. Chair, just to put it out there, because I worked here for years before I realized Mr. Cog was not a person. It is an acronym, just for anyone who
okay.
doesn't know.
Yeah, and Mr. stands for Mid-Region. All right, also the Animal Welfare Advisory Board, the Economic Development Advisory Board, the Library Advisory Board, the Parks Recreation Advisory Board. Whew, okay.
I would table it.
Let's see, so right now, the people we have serving on these boards, myself, I am on board number 3, which is the RTPO. I am also on board number 4, which is WCCNM. And I am on the board number 7, which is the North Central New Mexico Regional Transportation District, NCRTD.
Mr. Chair, you are the chair of one of these boards, correct?
I'm the chair of the RTPO.
Okay.
For the record, I have no problem maintaining those three that I'm currently doing. Okay, so who do we have that's right now currently assigned to the Board of Directors?
Mr. Chair, Community Liaison Burke just reminded us that that position was vacated by former Commissioner Donner.
Okay, I thought he was on the area board.
He is on that too.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the Board of Directors was Commissioner Powers.
Mr. Chair, I think Commissioner Donner had taken that position after Commissioner Powers.
Oh, okay. So I guess what we need to see, the Water Resource Board.
I'll do that.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Sorry. We may want to have an alternate as well.
Yeah, all the boards are supposed to have alternates.
Right, okay.
I'll be the alternate for the Water Resource Board. Unless you want it, Pat.
That's fine with me.
Okay. Does anybody want to be the alternate in the RTPO?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, who's the alternate?
Nadia.
Thank
For
you.
the RTPO, Commissioner Murillo. All right, well, let's go back to the Board of Directors. We need somebody who can represent the town on the Board of Directors.
Mr. Chair, does it have to be a commissioner?
Not all of these do. Of the Board of Directors for Mr. Cog, we would have to double check.
That may help, because I know everyone has, dare me say this, we all have lives. And this can get very cumbersome, because there are quite a few boards here. In the event, I'm sure we can find a staff member if that's possible. But if we need to look into any of these, we can always bring them back.
Okay. All right, let's see here. The Workforce Connections, Central New Mexico. Anybody want to be an alternate?
I'll be the alternate.
Okay. All right. Area. Didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Commissioner Milligan will be area.
I'll back.
You want to be alternate? Okay. Commissioner Naya wants to be alternate.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Milligan, hopefully they picked another chair, because it was Commissioner Donner. I don't think it'll still be you, but just throw it out.
All right. Estancia Basin Resource Association.
I think that's mine.
All right.
I'm already that one, right?
I believe so.
Okay. Do we have anybody written down as the alternate? You can go ahead and put me down as alternate. All right, the NCRTD, I need an alternate.
I'll be the alternate.
Okay, Commissioner Morrell says you'll be alternate for NCRTD. You don't have to worry much, I haven't missed a single meeting.
You have to.
Do what?
You have to.
Not for NCRTD.
You have because I had to do it. Never mind. Let's go on.
All right, Animal Welfare Advisory Board.
I'll take it.
Commissioner Milligan wants to be on that. The Advisory Board, I don't think we need an alternate, do we?
It's up to you guys.
I'll be alternate. All right, Economic Development Advisory
take it.
Board.
Well, I'm already on that one as well,
Okay.
so. one of us
Mr.
will be
Chair?
alternate.
Yeah.
With the internal advisory boards, 2 commissioners can attend too, so
Yeah.
even if you're the
Okay.
alternate, you can still go. I just want to clarify that, because sometimes it seems like the alternate seems a little unsure about attending, but
No, 2 can. 2 can.
Actually, the alternate can attend any one of these meetings except for at boards where it's actually a voting board. Like when I go to NCRTD, I'm a voting member. If both the primary and the alternates are there, only the primary votes.
Right.
So. All right, Library Advisory Board.
I'll do it.
And I'll back up. And Parks and Rec.
I will.
I'm on it already.
All right, so let me run this down. Let's see here. And we're going to check with Mr. Cog about the Board of Directors and see if a staff member can be there.
yes, we can double check that one.
All right. Find out, then we'll go ahead and get that one filled. But for the rest of these, we've got the Water Resource Board, Commissioner Nye, primary, Commissioner Murillo, secondary. Rural Transportation Planning Organization, RTPO, I'm primary, Commissioner Murillo, secondary. And Workforce, Connection, Central New Mexico, I'm primary, Commissioner Murillo, secondary. Albuquerque Regional Economic Development Alliance, Commissioner Milligan is primary, Commissioner Naya is secondary. Estancia Basin Resource Association, Commissioner Naya is primary, I'm secondary. North Central New Mexico Regional Transportation District, I'm primary, Commissioner Murillo, secondary. Animal Welfare Advisory, Commissioner Milligan is primary, I'm secondary. Economic Development Advisory Board, Commissioner Milligan primary, Commissioner Naya secondary. Library Advisory Board, Commissioner Murillo primary, I'm secondary. Parks and Rec Advisory Board, Commissioner Naya is primary, Commissioner Murillo secondary.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Murillo.
I already took on the Parks and Rec.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, are you primary in Parks and Rec? Oh, okay. Switch that around.
Yeah.
Here's Murill's primary, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
See, that's why we go through it, make sure we don't have any errors.
so easy to do this.
I know, I thought this was going to take 3 hours. Mr. Chair, the appointeds would like to thank you all for your swift action on those items. We were afraid it was going to take a long time, so thank you.
Mr. Chair, that's why I just told her that went you guys worked really well together, and
We appreciate it.
I was expecting battles or fight. I don't know what I was expecting, but thank you. This is our full steam ahead. I appreciate it.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Naya.
I would like to ask staff to send us an email with all of the times and dates of meetings and stuff like that on all of these, please.
That'd be great.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Naya, to piggyback off of that, the one thing, I don't know where Linda went, but her and I have discussed this, especially with these there she is, ordinances with these our internal advisory boards. We are going to push for a set date and time, so you always know it's a third Wednesday, second Wednesday, fourth Thursday, whatever it will be, that should be the date, so you should be able to have those dates, because that's one thing I've noticed, that some of these boards are constantly floating around, and that causes issues. And this next year, as we've discussed it, because that back room where people have been meeting are now, there's like 3 or 4 people, I think there's 4 offices in there, we'd prefer advisory board meetings being in the commission chamber, so they're conducted as a normal meeting. You know, they are a value to the town, and we want to treat it as such, but we do want to have it where the commissioners don't have to guess when a meeting is, they just know, and that we are going to push for agendas to be out in a timely manner like Parks and Rec and Library do. So just to let you guys know, that will be coming, but we will get a list as well, so you have that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve the board assignments as stated.
Second.
And it's been seconded by Commissioner Murillo. Any further discussion on the board assignments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, board assignments are set.
Amazing. Yes. Yeah.
So excited.
All right, the last item here is discussion and possible action for a memorial consideration for Mayor Keaty.
So this action item came forth, obviously, because of the passing of Mayor Keaty and the idea of this. We also, Manager McCracken and Clerk Jones and I had sat and talked about the possibility of broadening it to be a memorial location, a place of reflection within the town, because we have had other previous Councilor Kemistruck and previous Mayor Calkins have also passed away, and we just thought this might be more appropriate to broaden it to be a place that the community can use, and not specific to one person, would be more useful. And if, James, if you could put some photos up. We did talk about as a potential location over between the courthouse and animal welfare, or the shelter, because this space is already owned by the town. It's an area that has been used in the past for some gatherings. It has the ability, you can scroll through a couple of them. So these are really out of order now. So this is looking from the back side of the current space towards the parking lot over there. So you can see there's a bench in that space. The flagpole is behind the bench, which is when you actually are approaching this area. Okay, James, let's try another one.
Mr. Chair, sorry to interrupt just real quick, but this was like a while ago. I thought former commissioner, he's going to kill me if he knows I just called him that, former Chief of Police Crow, I believe told me this was meant for memorials, actually. I think it was more supposed to be towards the veterans.
There is a plaque there recognizing it as a Veterans Memorial location in the town of Edgewood, which is part of the reason. It seems somewhat appropriate to expand on that because it is a larger area. I'm sorry, this is looking across the court. It was this morning, so the light was awkward. I apologize for that. Let's try another picture, James. This is a better shot. From here, you can see where the flagpole is. It's centered in this space. That's the courthouse you see on the right-hand side. And generally, this space has some nice light. It's been used for Memorial Day events. So also, we've had the cornerstone to that courthouse was laid with an event in this courtyard. It actually functions quite nicely. And The fact that the town of Edgewood does not have a cemetery, this could offer a space that families might be able to use for some sort of memorial gathering that's intended to be a place, like I said, of reflection and appreciation for the people who have made this town what it is. And that's probably one of the better shots where you get a more full idea of the idea. But behind the flagpole, you'll see there's a wall. That is a curved shaped wall, and behind it is kind of a very cocooned sort of a space that's there. It's not too terribly small. It looks smaller in the picture than it actually is. And there is an opening towards the back that allows you to walk down into behind the buildings to section 16. So if we wanted to do something additional back there, there's a direct pathway that we could access that additional space for. So this was just an idea to put it out there. The one concern that we did have was to do something here at Town Hall. We don't own this facility, and we could lose control of it in the future, whereas over there, we do own that land, and we do own the facilities that are there. There's also some planters that's very difficult to see in these pictures, but there are planters that would allow us to put some nice sorts of plantings there. I'm not sure that we could put a tree in without breaking some concrete, but we could put a tree behind that wall that would eventually grow. If we start with something a little sizable to begin with, you'd be able to see it. And for the purpose of the public using this space, it could become the type of space that families could reserve if they wanted to do some sort of a family celebration or memorial or something like that. And there's about, I didn't count them, but I'd say there's about 20 parking spaces and a few handicap spaces as well, already existing.
Now, you wanting to put it like on the wall there, a plaque or something like that with names as?
That would be really up to what the commission thinks would be a good idea. That is certainly a possibility that we could do something like that to recognize people who have served the town in certain capacities, perhaps. It's possible, if you wanted to make it something that could open up beyond that, to families may choose to put something there. That's really, the sky's the limit on possibilities. So we wanted to bring it forward, just to give the idea and some thoughts on that, and see from the commission if there was a thought or process that you'd like us to take forward at all.
Mr. Chair, I was going to add too, I know that it has come up about a possible donation of a memorial tree or different things like that, but this could also be behind, we could start, I don't want to say an orchard, not a forest, but I don't know, like a botanical walk, I guess, if people brought different types of plants.
I think we would have to be somewhat specific on how it's done, and people couldn't just randomly go and plant something there. They'd have to do it through the town with permission. But we certainly could establish an idea of what specifically could be placed there, what types of plants would be acceptable and so forth. And
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Murillo.
So what is this space dedicated to right now?
currently, there is a small plaque right directly behind the flagpole on that yellowish wall that you see. It's about this big. And it says, it's recognizing the veterans of Edgewood for their service.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Murillo, I don't know if this has actually had just a designation. Like I said, I knew that about the veterans. There is a plaque. My personal opinion is I think there was the idea of it becoming a memorial area. Because I know when we discussed it, that's why we thought this would be best. I don't know if there was, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, who's been here longer, but I think the idea was to make this that central point, the memorializing whatever may come up.
So, so I think it'd be important to research that and find out specifically what it was dedicated to. If it's meant to be a memorial place for all, especially for the town, I think that would be great. But if it's dedicated to our servicemen and women who've fallen, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. So I think having a little bit more research on that would be a great way. I like the idea of trees being added. And I also like adding plaques or etching into the, is that concrete or stone?
It's actually stucco over cinder
Oh,
block.
I mean on the ground.
Oh, that's some pavers, brick pavers, and concrete.
Okay, because I wouldn't be opposed to doing etching. I've seen that. I think that's, of course, with designated walking spaces, but not to be walked on. But I think there's a lot of things that could be done. But if you find out, I would be more comfortable with that decision after
course.
I find out.
We could certainly look into that and try and check with people who have been here that may have been around that time.
Mr. Chair, I was just asking them because I can't see with the podium, but former Counselor Holly may know.
You know what I was thinking, probably Judge White would be the perfect person to.
Judge White?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. I know she was on the council for quite some time, and I believe she was here when that building if it had just opened or what might not be, but we can reach out to Judge White and ask. And actually, Brad is calling me, so he must have an answer. Is it okay if I answer? Hey, Brad. Brad, are you there? Oh, okay. Do you want me to put you on speaker? Okay. Mr. Chair, Brad.
Yeah, I'm here. So I was mayor when that building was built, and both of those buildings. Yeah, I'm here. So I was mayor when that building was built, and both of those buildings. Yeah, and so we actually had an advisory committee come together. We were looking to do a veterans memorial, and that was the intent of that project, was to be at a veterans memorial. That was the intent of that project, was to be at a veterans memorial. That was the intent of that project, was to be at a veterans memorial.
Mr. Chair, so it sounds like that was the intent. I don't know if that was ever what was decided, but we can research that.
All right, let's go ahead and I do like the idea of having a memorial area.
Veterans Memorial, and that's why the flags are there, and there was going to be, follow up with that, but the succeeding administration did not follow up with it.
There's the answer. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
So let's do a little more research in this
Yes.
one, and there is more area around there. I mean, we could expand the area. We can have the Veterans Memorial area, and then we can have the Citizen Memorial area, or what, we have to call it something,
Public service or something.
Public service, or
Mr. Chair, since this is apparently a Veterans Memorial and it is a good idea to expand it into we should probably come up with some policies and procedures on how to submit what is required, but it might be a great idea to get some veterans up on there and start that process, and then find an additional area to recognize citizens or those that have been in civic duty.
But this is a starting point. I mean, we don't have to take any action on this right now. We can just, continue on gathering more information and start the building a framework of a plan, and then we'll bring it back and discuss that. And
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Morello.
Town manager, I'd like to be a part of those conversations as the planning and SOPs, and I think it's Memorial Day and Veterans Day. I mean, we should be holding events there. So I think we need, now my mind's exploded. There's a lot of reasons to do. So, yeah, let's take that on and make it a great space.
Thank you for the direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda and I will be in touch, and we'll get a little committee together and get this where it's addressed that way. In the future, when we do have something that comes up, we know the exact process. So really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. And that brings us up to the closed session. I need a motion to go into closed session.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Morello.
I move that we go into closed session. Item 1, as promotion, roll call pursuant to NMSA Section 10-15-1, H2, limited personal matters, the discussion of hiring, promotion, demotion, dismissal, assignment, or resignation of, or the investigation of complaints or charges against any individual, public employees. Number 2, as per motion and roll call pursuant to NMSA Section 10-15-1HA, discussion of the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property or water rights, specifically the purchase of real property within the town of Edgewood.
Okay, it's been motioned for the closed session.
Second.
And been seconded by Commissioner Milligan. Any discussion? If not, we'll go into the roll call vote.
This does require a roll call vote. Commissioner Milligan?
Aye.
Commissioner Murillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Naya? Commissioner Brennan?
Aye.
Motion
All right,
carries. We're in
8:01.
closed session.
We're in closed session.